Hey y'all, I'm Tracy. Welcome to Just Dig It Farms and welcome to my kitchen. Today I want to share with you guys what I do with all of these beautiful cherry and little Roma tomatoes. Today I'm going to be preserving my cherry and Roma tomatoes 3 different ways. First way I like to preserve my cherry and Roma tomatoes is by dehydrating them. I like to make like sun-dried tomatoes. So I take the cherry tomatoes or Roma tomatoes and I slice them. I drizzle them with olive oil, sea salt, basil, oregano, whatever seasonings I want to use. I dehydrate them, but I don't let them get all the way completely dried out. I let them get just a little bit chewy, and then I throw them in the freezer, and then we just pull them out and use them for like pizzas, pastas, salads, whatever we want to use them for. Now, I'm not going to be showing you that process today because I have a video that I did, gosh, probably 2 years ago on how I process my little cherry tomatoes that way. So I'm going to put a link to that video right up here, or it will also be in the description of this video. But today I want to show you the 2 other ways that I'm going to be preserving these. I'm going to be canning some and putting them up in the pantry so that we can enjoy them during the winter. And the third way is I'm going to be making cherry tomato confit. And remember, I'm from Alabama, so I'm sure I'm really not pronouncing that correctly. But that's what we're gonna make. So for my canning recipe, I'm going to be using Mama Hoss, which is Sheila over at Hoss Tools. I'm going to be using her recipe to can the tomatoes. And for the cherry tomato confit, I'm going to be using Elliot at Elliot Homestead's recipe. Shay at Elliot Homestead has a wonderful cooking channel, gardening channel, just all things beautiful. And I've been watching her for years and years and years. I get so many wonderful recipes and ideas from her. So I'm going to be making her cherry tomato confit today. In the description below, I will put a link to Shay at Elliot Homestead's video and to Sheila, aka Mama Hoss, at Hoss Tools video. My first step, of course, was to wash all of my basil, my rosemary, and my beautiful tomatoes here. So I've got a mixture of Mountain Vineyards, Sun Golds, and let's see, Super Sweet 100s. So that's what I'm using here today. I pulled all of the little green stems off and washed all of the tomatoes and herbs. Before we get started, I'm definitely going to put my apron on because I am a very messy cook. Got my Just Dig It Farms apron on and I love it. It's got all these great pockets. It's comfortable, it's cute, I love it. If you guys want to grab you one of these really cute aprons, you can go over to our spread shop and get you one. There's the Just to Get Farms logo. We've got one that has the Grow Your Own Medicine design on it, and we also have one that has the Potager Garden design on it. So they're really, really cute. I love them. If you want to get you one, the link to our spread shop is in the description below. You can go grab you one. All right, let's get started on our tomatoes. First, we're going to be doing the cherry tomato confit. So the first thing we do is we get a nice pan and we just put our tomatoes in here. You don't have to cut them or anything. Just put them. This is so easy. That's why I love this recipe when I saw it on Shay's channel, because it's so easy. I like easy. So I'm just going to fill this pan up with these tomatoes here. I'm just going to put all of these in here. Okay. Okay, next I'm just going to take this olive oil, drizzle it all over it. Without out. Jean's picking me up some more at the store today, so I won't be able to finish this until he gets back. Okay. Then I'm just going to sprinkle some sea salt, and I've got my Redmond's sea salt here. I finally broke down and ordered me some Redmond's sea salt, and I'm so happy I did. We love it. You can just taste that it has more minerals and nutrients in it. It's not been refined, it hasn't been processed. It's just really full of good minerals, and we love it. Once you get your olive oil and your salt on here, you want to just kind of mix it up with your hands a little bit. Just kind of make sure all the tomatoes are covered with olive oil and salt. Now I'm just going to stick these in my oven on 400 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now let's can some. So what Sheila says to do is to take your tomatoes and pierce the ends of the tomato so they don't explode. I'm going to go ahead and prepare the onions and the garlic for the recipes. The onions and the garlic will go in the canned tomatoes, and just the garlic will be going in the cherry tomato confit. Look at these onions. Look how big this onion is. These are the onions that I grew from seed. I only ended up with about 35 or 40 of them, but gosh, look how big that is. We're not going to be using all of these onions. I just wanted to show you the onions that we grew from the Host seed. I'm definitely going to do that again this year. We grow short day onions here. So we start the seed in August, plant it in November, and then harvest it in around May, 1st of June. Now, this is garlic that we grew this year. We grew Spanish rojas and California garlic. Grew a lot of it. This is the tomato confit, and here is our tomatoes that we roasted in the oven. And this olive oil right here, this juice, it's olive oil and tomato juice, is really good to use too. Once we finish all of our tomatoes, we can use that olive oil. It's gonna be flavored. So I'm just gonna take these tomatoes and put them in my jar. I've got a half-gallon jar here. So you put some tomatoes, and you want to layer it with a little bit of garlic, some basil, and then some more tomatoes. And just keep layering it. Not really measuring anything, I'm just putting it in there. Now this, when we get finished with this, this is going to keep in the refrigerator, and what's preserving it is the fact that we've roasted the tomatoes, and then we're going to keep it covered in the olive oil. We're going to make sure all of this is submerged in the olive oil. That way it can't get air to it. If it gets air to the food, to the tomatoes, then it will mold. So if we can keep it submerged in the olive oil, no air can get to it. And what Shay on Elliot Homestead said, that it can last all the way until next tomato season. I'm sure this isn't going to last that long here. We're going to use this. We're going to use this in pastas and maybe pizza, homemade pizzas, and just like to smear it on some bread. That's really good. That's what I had for dinner tonight. I smeared these tomatoes on some bread. Put some more garlic in here. I'm gonna put a bunch of garlic in here. Stuff this in here. Now I'm gonna stick a couple of rosemary sprigs in here. Just kind of tuck them down in there. Isn't that pretty? That's perfect, isn't it? I had just the right amount. Get my knife here and go down the sides of it. Try to get all the air out of it. I'm gonna top it off with this olive oil juice. Like I said, make sure all the food, the herbs, the tomatoes, everything is pushed under the olive oil. I'm gonna do this one more time. Now we want to make sure we wipe the jar off. Make sure there's no tomatoes or food or anything on it. Oh, see that basil leaf sticking up? We gotta squish that down in there. Put the lid on. Now we just put this in the refrigerator and pull it out, spoon out what we want to use, put it back in the refrigerator. Now when you spoon it out, if you need to, you might need to add some more olive oil, because remember, everything's got to be completely submerged in the olive oil to keep the air from getting to it. Okay, this is our canned tomatoes from our recipe from Mama House. So the first thing we're going to do is get 1 tablespoon of salt. This is Redmond sea salt, and this is quart-sized jars. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of salt, and then I'm going to add some garlic, some basil, and a few onion slices. And then I'm going to put my tomatoes in here. I'm going to pack some of these in here. These are the tomatoes that I punched the holes in. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and do the same thing. Some garlic, some onions, some basil, all fresh from the garden. More tomatoes. Another garlic, some more onions. And break them apart. Some more basil. And more tomatoes. Next, I have some boiling water that I'm pouring into the jars. Now I'm just going down the sides of the jar just to make sure I'm getting all the air bubbles out of it. Now I'm just wiping off the rim of my jar really good to make sure there's no tomatoes or anything on the rim, and then I put my lid on. Next, we just put all of the jars in the water bath canner, and we get it to a rolling boil. Once it starts boiling, then we process it for 55 minutes. And here is the finished product. These are the canned tomatoes, so they can be stored in the pantry and we can enjoy the flavors of summer during the winter time. And this is the cherry tomato confit, which will need to be stored in the refrigerator. Thanks for joining me today, guys. God bless you, and I'll see y'all in the next video.